Hi, welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. My name is George Alger. Today we're going to be talking about heaven on earth. And joining us is Reverend Bonnie Rose, who is also the author of Dances with Dogs. Bonnie, what does that even mean, Dances with Dogs?
Well, the book is a memoir. And I have dogs and I love dogs, but it's not really a book about dogs. It's about my journey through life in many both beautiful and many distressing circumstances and how I was able to navigate that and find peace and happiness and heaven on earth in those scenarios.
Wow, very cool. So let's talk about heaven on earth. What does that even mean?
Okay. Well, in our denomination, we talk about heaven as being a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. And I always refer to these two scriptural references. One is actually from a Jewish prayer where it says that we walk sightless among miracles. And the other is from the Gospel of Thomas, which is a little known gospel, but it says the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, but we do not see it. And so the point of that is that there's happiness and joy and peace all around us, but we have to do something in order to receive it.
Very good. I want to get into what we can do, but also you mentioned the denomination of the church. What
Yes,
denomination is that?
it's Centers for Spiritual Living.
Okay, very cool.
Yes, yes.
So, how does one sort of facilitate this heaven on earth?
Well, gosh, that could be a very long story, but I'll try and keep it brief. It's really again cultivating the state of mind that is able to see miracles, and there are just hundreds of little tools for that. One of them is, I think, taking responsibility for our own thoughts and recognizing how we might be participating in a culture of blame or resentment or lack of forgiveness or self-hatred, shaming ourselves, shaming others. And first of all, just noticing that and befriending that and seeing what's then looking deeper and seeing what's behind it.
Wow, okay. It almost sounds
Yeah.
like this is getting into some psychology as well. But in terms of these, let's say, inadequacies or whatever that a person, um, might be contending with, it seems pretty human. But once you've actually, I don't know, recognized it or you have some attention on it, like how could you move forward from it?
Well, first of all, it is very much like psychology. It's we call it spiritual psychology. So let's say that I notice that I'm feeling shame. One of the tools that I offer in the book is that so many of us feel shame, but we're ashamed of feeling shame.
Hmm.
So one of the ways that I started with healing shame was just to what I would call witness and befriend it. So you see that what you're actually feeling is shame, and then you befriend it. You recognize that it's there for a purpose. And one of the ways that I had the courage to befriend my shame was I started with an affirmation of saying, I am no longer ashamed of my shame. And that gave me the courage and the fortitude to actually look at the shame and see what the source of it was.
Wow, okay. And you mentioned forgiveness, and I'm wondering how, from a practical point of view, how does a person not only, profess forgiveness, but really feel it sincerely when when from their perspective they've been so wronged by someone or something?
Yeah, it is really challenging. I won't underestimate it. I think one of the things about forgiveness is that we often think that it means that you're condoning the other person, and it really isn't. Forgiveness is really for the forgiver. It's there's an old expression you may have heard it, George, and probably a lot of the viewers have too. But it's like a lack of forgiveness is like taking rat poison and hoping that the other person will die. And so forgiveness really liberates ourselves from playing the same story and the same script over and over again. And I think again, I think you asked about the process of forgiveness. It is definitely a process. It's often something that we need help with, like divine help, like we pray that we're able to forgive, or we ask for counseling on how to forgive. But really, I think what it boils down to is understanding the human condition, that we're all struggling to survive and we're all struggling to feel good about ourselves. And sometimes that struggle is being unkind or even abusive to other people. Again, we don't stand for it. About setting a boundary against somebody that's actually abusive to us is actually really a kind and forgiving thing to do because it involves self forgiveness as well. But really, yeah, I think it's just a combination of understanding and then actually doing the work of forgiveness, just repeating and asking for help.
Very good. Bonnie, when you're out and about in the community and chatting with folks, and the idea of either the book comes up or that you're a reverend comes up, what is the most common question that you get?
Hmm. Well, I think the one about forgiveness is it comes up a lot. I'm going to shift that a little bit though, because really, like what the thing that I really do, I'm saying this for the viewer because this has been a great source in my mental health and forgiveness and all kinds of stuff, is to recognize that when I'm out and about, when I'm not in the pulpit, when I am in the pulpit, when I'm in my church, when I'm doing whatever, is to be a source of love and healing for others, whatever that means. And so to embrace whatever happens and to find the joy in it and to find the peace in it and to go out of my way to try and make somebody else's day happier. One of the things that happened recently was I did a wedding and it was sort of a chaotic wedding, and the person who had hired me for the wedding, wasn't the bride or the groom. I was a referral from this person, and the person who hired me said, "Why are you so good at weddings?" And I said, "Because I fall in love with the couple. I absolutely love the couple when they're standing in front of me." And so I try and use that approach when I go to a coffee shop, when I go grocery shopping. I just try and fall in love with the person in front of me.
Wow, what a wonderful message.
Thank you.
Well, we're just about out of time here. I'm wondering if you'd like to provide a website that viewers could go to for more information, and if there's anything you might want to leave as a concluding message to the folks.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, the website, I'll give you the website of my spiritual center, my church, which is www.venturacsl.org. And for a closing message, I would say that it is possible to fall in love with your whole life, even the parts that seem distressing. There's beauty and there's joy, there's sweetness and adversity that is hidden in absolutely everything. And we all have that capacity. Just takes a little bit of work, a little bit of understanding, and most of all, a lot of love. Thank you.
Wow, well said. Thank you so much, Bonnie. I'm going to wrap up here. This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.